Dr. Radu Georgescu of the University of Bucharest's Archaeological Museum, Dr. Ivanka Lazarova of the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences, Dr. Petar Stoichev of the University of Michigan, the tireless staff of the British Library, the librarians at the Rutherford Literary Museum, and the Library of Philadelphia, Father Vasil of Zographou Monastery on Mount Athos, and Dr. Turgut Bora of the Istanbul University. My great hope in making this story public is that it may find at least one reader who will understand it for what it actually is, a cri de coeur. To you, perceptive reader, I bequeath my history. Oxford, England, January 15th, 2008. In 1972, I was 16. Young, my father said, to be traveling with him on his diplomatic missions. He preferred to know that I was sitting attentively in class at the international school in Amsterdam. In those days, his foundation was based in Amsterdam, and it had been my home for so long that I had nearly forgotten our early life in the United States. It seems peculiar to me now that I should have been so obedient well into my teens, while the rest of my generation was experimenting with drugs and protesting the imperialist war in Vietnam. But I had been raised in a world so sheltered that it makes my adult life in academia look positively adventurous. To begin with, my mother had died when I was a baby. My father never spoke of her and turned quietly away if I ever asked questions. I understood very young that this was a topic too painful for him to discuss. Instead, he took excellent care of me himself and provided me with a series of governesses and housekeepers. The latest of these housekeepers was Mrs. Clay, who took care of our narrow 17th-century townhouse on the Ramgracht, a canal in the heart of the old city. Mrs. Clay let me in after school every day and was a surrogate parent when my father traveled, which was often. She was English, older than my mother would have been, skilled with a feather duster and clumsy with teenagers. When my father was away, the handsome house echoed. No one could help me with my algebra. No one admired my new coat or told me to come here and give him a hug. When my father returned from some name on the European map that hung on the wall in our dining room, he smelled like other times and places, spicy and tired. While he was gone, I went back and forth to school, dropping my books on the polished hall table with a bang. I excelled at my studies, but not in my social life. Girls my age terrified me, and boys mystified me, although I dreamed vaguely of men. I was happiest alone in my father's library, a large, fine room on the first floor of our house. My father's library had probably once been a sitting room. He had given me free run of his collection. I understood later that my father had either half forgotten what was on one of the top shelves, or, more likely, assumed I would never be able to reach it. Late one night, I took down a very old volume and an envelope of yellowing papers. I can't say even now what made me pull them down, but the image at the center of the book, the smell of age that rose from it, and my discovery that the papers were personal letters all caught my attention forcibly. I knew I shouldn't examine my father's private papers or anyone's, and I was also afraid that Mrs. Clay might suddenly come into dust, but I couldn't help reading the first paragraph of the topmost letter.
December the 12th, 1930, Trinity College, Oxford. My dear and unfortunate successor, it is with regret that I imagine you, whoever you are, reading the account I must put down here. The regret is partly for myself, because I will surely be at least in trouble, maybe dead, or perhaps worse, if this is in your hands. But my regret is also for you, because only by someone who needs such vile information will this letter someday be read. If you are not my successor,